Good afternoon and welcome back to the channel. I'm here in Halifax exploring the 1.5 mile Stainland branch. It opened in 1875 by the Yorkshire and Lancashire Railway to serve the villages of Stainland, Holywell Green before terminating in Stainland. So we're going to have a look around and see what we can find. Now, despite its short length, it did actually have two major infrastructures such as the two viaducts that we're going to have a look at. Let's take a look at Rail Map Online. We're going to be exploring today the remains of the Stainland branch between Greetland and Holywell Green and Stainland railway station. There were two viaducts and three railway stations on the line. It served for passengers up until 1929 and eventually saw its last use for freight in 1959. Built by the Yorkshire and Lancashire Railway, we're going to take an explore and see what we can find, what remains of this line. Just down there was the site of the Greetland station. So this is the Calder Valley line. Now the North Dean station, which was also known as, opened in July 1844. And it actually was to serve the actual Stainland branch, which was just down there. So before we go, you can just see in here, we've got the remains of some lines. You can just see them here. There's one right here, right underneath my foot. And you can see it's clearly overgrown. And I think this is some sort of chemical work, so I'm not going to go in there. But I do think it kind of had something to do with the Stainland branch. So if you just go down here, you can see the railway tracks. We'll just take a little sneak in here, you can see them there. And they go all the way. I can see this gate has been built over. And you can see some sidings that are just down there. So that's where those lines were that would have come down here somewhere. This is the Calder Valley main line. And then just down here would have been the Greetland junction, just peering off to the right towards North Dean Woods. Nice shot of a freight train there. So here would have been the location of the Greetland junction, peering off to the right. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to head towards the North Dean Woods and just search for the track bed that peered towards Stainland. So this is Stainland Road. Here's the Calder Valley line that heads off towards Halifax. And then to the right here is where we're going to be following our track bed. So here's the bridge that I've just shown you from the Calder Valley line. This here is an embankment to where our railway line starts. Now I'm really sorry, it is a little bit loud with all the traffic. This is our embankment into North Dean Woods. So before we head on to the track bed, this car park here used to be the site of the coal drops. Now the early stages of the branch's opening, freight was worked by 060 STs. Now the maximum load from Greetland to West Vale was 17 wagons and a brake. And the freight trains were usually made up of coal wagons, vans and sheeted open wagons. And the vans were used for textile and paper traffic. And the coal was carried in the open wagons. And with the side bottom doors for the coal drops, which were just here. So I've got some stairs here that lead up into North Dean Woods. Now I better be careful because they are quite steep. So this is going to take me up onto an embankment through North Dean Wood. So this is where I just showed you the coal drops. And this is what probably would have been our railway track bed. So if we just head back towards the Greetland junction, now it doesn't look like any railway would have passed through here at one time, but surely did. So it was actually built for 2 tracks, serving 2 railway stations, soon to be 3, with the Rochdale Road halt, which I'm going to show you the site of. So where I've just walked, I think you had a cutting right here which has been filled in. If we just take a little look back to where the branch was just down here. Now it's just completely woodland. So the 2 tracks would have probably been here, because like I said, this here was the start of a cutting, as you can see. So we've got a view from the other side of the gate where the Greetland junction branched off onto our railway line. Again, you can just see the Calder Valley line. So I've just headed back a little bit. Just over this fence you can see the Calder Valley line there. There's a fence right here where it looks like our railway line would have started right there. So where we're going to take you next is to the site of the Rochdale Road halt. Now this station, well, it was a station that opened a lot later than the 2 original stations. So you have the Stainland and Holywell, also the Westvale station, but this wasn't open until 1907. So I'm going to take you to where the location of it was. So for the first 30 years of this railway line opening, passenger traffic fluctuated according to local demand. So you had 6 trains that operated each day between Stainland and Greetland, with the passengers changing at the latter. So by 1905, 13 trains a day ran each weekday, plus a through train in each direction between Stainland and Bradford. So you can clearly tell this was a cutting. Now it does look like we are a lot higher than railway track level. Now what you can see right here is where a bridge has been filled in. So when we get up here, which I'm gonna have to climb up, we're gonna come towards a bridge that you can clearly see has been infilled before it gets to the Rochdale Road halt. So I've just reached the top, just literally had to climb up this. You can see here, literally just loads of earth has been filled in this cutting. So I'll be walking a lot higher than track level. So the Rochdale Road halt was actually located near Clay House. So it's like a little park. And we're going to come to a bridge just down here where the railway line would have gone under. So again, I'm literally walking quite high above track level. This was still the cutting right here. So track bed just here, and here is where it looks like we've come across to a bridge, the bridge where it's been filled in. But before we do go, you can just see here looks like there's the remains of a signal post which is snapped here. That's come down. Can't really see any more. So what we'll need to do is just venture off the track bed, because you can see it's fenced up there. In fact, if we just take a little look up here, and then this is our cutting underneath the bridge, and you can just see the other side of the bridge over there. So we're gonna have to walk down this path. So this is where I've just come down this path, and I had to walk up here, and as we walk up we can see what remains of an old bridge. So it looks like the line crossed right underneath here. which doesn't look like at all. It's all been infilled on the other side. So if I just take you up to have a little look, you can see the old railway bridge. And I'm not sure what this is used for now, but our track bed ran right underneath here and will have come out here somewhere. Down there is where the Rochdale Road halt would have been. So this is Clay House, so it's like a gardens or something, where the line would have run past. Our trap bed would have been here, where you can see the bridge is here, and it looks like all this has been filled in. So just a little look at the Clay House. Nice little gardens. There's our railway bridge, and somewhere around here is our track bed coming down towards the halt, which was built in 1907. And we're going to continue our track bed just beyond the halt. Now there are no pictures of this halt, well I can't find any anyway. So this was the site of the Rochdale Road halt crossing. Now little remains of any railway remnants. There's absolutely nothing left of the station. You can just see the filled in earth here. Our track bed now continues over there. Now I believe that there was a bridge that crossed over, that went over towards the track bed. So our next piece of infrastructure we're going to come across will be the West Vale Viaduct, which is going to be one of the two viaducts that we explore. So this is Rochdale Road. Like I say, behind me right here is where the bridge crossed over, and we're going to take our next venture this way. So like I say, little shows any remnants of the railway station. So I've just crossed Rochdale Road and I've just come across these salvaged wooden railway sleepers. Now this will have been where the bridge would have crossed over. You can see all the foundations have all been made out of the sleepers. You can see the holes where the track chairs would have been put in. So now it looks like we're going to head into a cutting towards the West Vale Viaduct. So walking towards the West Vale Viaduct, we're coming towards a cutting. You can see more salvaged railway sleepers. Sustrans have obviously converted this part of the cutting towards West Vale Station. You can see there's a lot of remnants left. So I've just come across this infrastructure here. I'm not sure exactly where it is. It's not an old footbridge, but you can see there's a gas pipe that goes over the top. So I'm not sure if that's to supply gas somewhere. Just leave a comment in the box if you know what this is. So that was Rochdale Halt, opened in 1907, serving the villages of Stainland and Greetland, and closing in 1929. So what we're going to do now is we're walking up towards the West Vale Viaduct and then towards the West Vale railway station. It's a nice cutting, this. Now if I just take a little walk back, you can just see some brickwork over here. I'm not exactly sure. I think that's just more of the retaining wall that holds up the rock. You can see the rock here. I think would have been a little bit lower in terms of track level. I don't think this was the track bed. I think it would have been a lot lower down. So we're approaching the first viaduct of the two, which this one was the West Vale Viaduct. Now, even though this had less arches, it was actually the longer of the two. Now, it's built of sandstone, and it's got a curve. So a few years ago it was restored by the Calderdale Council at a cost of 125 grand. It was actually originally opposed, however it went along. So just having a little look at the views. You can see the curve, and it looks to me like the pathway was converted by tarmac. So this is sandstone. So I've just come back to the start of the viaduct just to have a look at the side view of it. You can see the arches are quite high up. You can see the curve that it makes as it goes towards West Vale Station. Before I head on towards West Vale Station, I'm just going to take a little walk back and just get some shots of the viaduct from the road below. Just headed off the track bed, just down this path here, to have a little side shot of the viaduct. See how it curves to the left, and it's quite hidden behind the trees, so we're going to get back onto the viaduct and get some drone shots. Looks like a potentially modern repairs. Now there's no refuges on the viaduct. Some nice views around before we get to the village of West Vale and the West Vale Station, or what remains. Let's get the drone up and have a look at these magnificent views. Hope you like them drone shots of the viaduct. So anyway, we're going to head on now to where the site of the West Vale Station would have been located. So you've got here some private houses, and there's a little tarmac, little footpath that heads down towards where the station would have been. So I'm currently on Green Lane. Just behind me is where we just left West Vale Viaduct, and then just behind me here, if I spin the camera around, this was the site of the former West Vale railway station. So almost immediately after the viaduct, this would have been a level crossing. This would have been the entrance to West Vale railway station, which would have also had a goods yard. So as we walk up onto Greenroyd Road, the West Vale railway station would have had a 1 in 50 gradient as it headed towards the viaduct. So this is the site of the West Vale station. Now it doesn't look much like it was a station. You can just see the retaining walls here. And it looks like the land has been filled in and built on by houses. Now it opened on New Year's Day in 1875 along with the rest of the branch, and apparently for such a small railway line the station was actually well developed. So the main station buildings were located on the up platform, which I think was just up there. It had a general waiting room, and in addition there was also a separate ladies and gentlemen's waiting room on either side of the booking office, plus other general facilities. On the down platform, which I think was on the right here, was a grand building, and it also had a general waiting room for first class room for ladies and gentlemen on either side. So all the buildings and the platforms have been demolished, and obviously the land has been developed. So if I spin the camera around, there's a picture here which will show where I'm stood now. So if I just take a little venture back, now the reason why I know this picture was taken from here, because if you take a look at the two buildings to the left, they match up with the buildings just over there. So you would have had two platforms on either side here, and like I said, this building here across the road, which looks like an old house, matches up with these. So you can see just here is where the platforms would have been. So the railway station looks like it went all the way around down towards the West Vale Viaduct.
You keep me on my feet, I'll move to the beat, my favorite song, keep it on repeat, please don't.
So apparently there were 5 long sidings which passed through a goods shed to a loading platform somewhere around here. So here again you've got all this earth that's been pumped in. This would have been our trap bed going underneath a bridge going towards the Stainland viaduct. So that was West Vale Station, opened in 1875, closing to passengers in 1929, and then closing to goods in 1959. So let's head on now towards the next viaduct, which would have been the Stainland viaduct, and then our next part towards Holywell Green and Stainland railway station. So this is Longhurst Farm. This here you can see a stone railway bridge literally being filled in. So this looked like it was the cutting heading down towards West Vale Station. So yeah, this isn't a wall, this is an old railway bridge. You can see how much it's been filled in. You can see some old railway walling behind there. And if I spin you over and we go to the other side of the bridge, you can see where the bridge would have come out into another cutting, or it looks like it might have been an embankment going down towards the Stainland viaduct. And you can't go without seeing one of these Department for Transport. Can't really tell what it says. Looks like it says Stainland branch, bridge number 6 I think it says. See down there our track bed. See the bridge has been filled in here, and literally we're going into a cutting. So there's a nice little public footpath that runs alongside it. Looks like it's overgrown and waterlogged by the looks of it, and I'm not wearing the best footwear today. But our track bed continued along this way towards our shorter viaduct, which actually did have more arches. So the West Vale had 13 and this one had 14. However, the West Vale was slightly longer. See down there just how the track bed heads up onto an embankment, And if we just walk a little bit further down this footpath, we'll come towards where the viaduct is. You can just see it. So I managed to get onto the viaduct. Now, unlike the West Vale, this one is still being left abandoned. Now it's been made out of the same material, however it's not been converted into a cycle path. You see it's overgrown. Look at that. There's no way am I going near there. But a little bit of movement in the structure. Now there's no signs to say don't come on it, so I've taken a brave approach to come up and have a look. That's looking back towards Greetland. This is looking towards Stainland. I'm just going to take some views off the viaduct. Got a few it's like industrial estates down there. So just headed off the viaduct and just a little look from the bottom. That's going back towards West Vale. We're going to continue towards Stainland. See a pile of railway sleepers just there. So wooden sleepers. Our trap bed then looks like it would have headed off this embankment and directly. Now this looks like an industrial estate. You can see the embankment here, and our trap bed would have then continued towards Station Road. So it's just up there. So what I'm going to do is make my way around, because all that's industrial, towards where the station site is located. So I'm just on North Street, so just beyond the Stainland Viaduct. This would have been a cutting that would have led towards Stainland railway station. But you can see now it's an actual access road into, I think it's a chemical works, which is now on the site of where the Holywell and Stainland station was. So following on from the viaduct, the railway line would have made it through this cutting and would have terminated at the Holywell Green station, which is now, you can see, access and exit. So I'm currently on Station Road. That was where I just showed you where the cutting came in, and there's a bridge just underneath. You can see the access road coming in. that would have gone towards the Holywell Green and Stainland railway station, which there is literally nothing left. See, it's all just an industrial estate now. And I think the platform would have been there, the terminus. As you can see, the cutting ends here. So this would have been our terminus at Holywell Green and Stainland railway station. That pretty much concludes this documentary on the Stainland branch. I really hope you all enjoyed it. Please like the video, comment on the video, subscribe to the channel for more videos. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.